Hello friends, Joe here at Reverb, and today I get to come at you with the new Walrus Audio Slöer. Now, you probably remember the amazing slow pedal from Walrus from a few years ago, and now they have added some new algorithms, some new features, and of course, what everybody wanted, some stereo functionality. So, we have the stereo ambient reverb, the Slöer. Came as no surprise to me that I was going to be in love with this pedal right when I plugged it in. In recent years, I've definitely leaned in the direction of larger soundscapes and just really actually slowing things down in many ways. Whether I'm composing for film or whether I'm creating a guitar piece or whether I'm just trying to create ambient kind of meditation music. They knew this too. Walrus knew that this thing was gonna be perfect for me. But it's gonna be perfect for a lot of you, I think, too, and we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. Real quick, speaking of the stereo functionality, we do have two Fender Deluxe reverbs mic'd up, and we're also running DI. So we'll be able to hear the full scope of the Slöer. Let's slow down. All right, so I'd like to start on the dark setting. I think that some of these settings fall in categories of dreamy or nightmare, and this is maybe more on the nightmare side of things, but it still can be very cozy, very warm, and I guess the main feature of this algorithm for me is the low octave on the reverb, something that Walrus has done very well on a few of their pedals. So I'm gonna start with this slider all the way to the left, which means we're not getting much of that low octave, and then I'll bring it all the way in so you can really hear how that low octave comes in to the reverb. So we also have this toggle here that's wide, medium, or narrow that is adjusting the stereo spread of the reverb. And then at the end of that example, you heard that I held this sustain switch here, which allows you, if you're familiar with the slow or with the Fathom reverb from Walrus, that sustain function, which is always awesome, especially in live situations, being able to just, after a certain section, hold that sustain, carry over into the next section, the way that you can just really kind of bloom sections into one another, or a note that you want to hold out as you continue playing. The sustain switch is a really, I think, kind of an underrated feature on all these Walrus pedals. Okay, let's go to the rise setting. And on the rise setting, we have an auto swell function. So allows you to control the time from the attack of your note to when that reverb swells in. So again, with this X fader, we can control that. All the way down, the reverb is gonna blossom in pretty quickly, and then if we have it all the way up, there's gonna be this pre-delay, and then the reverb swells in. X fader halfway up. X fader all the way up. Bring it back down just a little bit here. So a lot of us like to swell, including myself. I like to use these larger reverbs with the volume pedal and swell in like that, or with the volume knob on the guitar. On this function, and if you have the mix all the way up, you can just kind of use it like that without a volume pedal or a volume knob, and just allow the swell to happen. And then this stretch fader, which is, as you can hear, it's adjusting the pitch to create these little moments of harmonic dissonance that really can conjure up dark feelings and just ominous feelings. Okay, the next setting is rain. And this setting allows for these really cool diffusions of the reverb that almost act like little delays, little echoes, little trippy little raindrops that tail along to your melodies. Let's check it out. I think this setting sounds really cool on kind of like palm muted kind of percussive stuff to accentuate those just those attacks that the slower kind of grabs onto. Okay, onto the dream setting. On this algorithm, you can use the sustain switch to act as a latch. So you can just kind of create a pad and latch that, use the X knob to add vibrato to the pad, and use the stretch fader to, again, to adjust the pitch. And when you've got just a pad that's latched, it does some really cool things to just use this fader as literally just creating harmonic movement. Okay, and the last setting we're going to check out is the light algorithm, and this is just the opposite of the dark. So it's adding the high shimmer octave instead of the low -1 octave. You can use the X fader to go from a nice kind of lush paddy reverb all the way to kind of a really more shimmery affected reverb. Let's check it out. Immediately, of course, when I saw this had stereo ins and outs, I thought, okay, synths, what's it gonna do? We got a Prophet 6 back here, let's plug it in and give it a go. Okay, there we have it from Walrus Audio, the brand new Slöer, the stereo ambient reverb that we've all been waiting for from Walrus. Life is crazy, life is chaotic, life is fast. Let's slow down. The Walrus Audio, Slöer. Slow down, be gentle, communicate in new ways. Thank you, Walrus.